is Boadu TV. Truth and integrity.
Say see a bit di krono MPP for boy chia ho. Ene niam omo ye ho anka kofa do fie ho ni ma ho flowers ni nyina. E see tutu ni na de kwansa won kodua ho. E so mo nyina koje. Cause en so kra di gu su kra na corruption ska.
Captain Smart no. I say ye share bonni any sika MPP aban no di ye pan de a. Enka ekufo ado ni fie flowers ni nyina. Ye be so de akonsa o mesan say corruption sika enom do tonsuo de gu so. They send the corruption no. Omu wia yen sika papa. Captain Smart eno. Na watchon krata tententen. E de akoma Ghana mampanyen se ogini di. Ogidi so betimi ayamai. Ghana mebunu ebre about rent na. Hwe kwanya landlords ni landladies e de Ghana for efa ahokyere ene ohawmu. Na watum. Sinkiru no watum. Chembe ono watum. Ghana bebuna fe na obaye adwuma na wono so akọ nanim abrabom okofa sika no na wo de tua etubon se wo ye adwuma pa wonye sika pa but ni nyina ko rent ene like utility bills eti captain afaya e de afasa ndema no now Ofori Atta yese no wife acho letter de aba say waye surgery na wie and so hia 3 months or the be recover Ivan innocent chi one captain dia boani ewo ho afa ya watuja dia ma MPP for ne maame na wo cho sa letter de by say 3 months den sancho Ofori Atta 3 months ya mamukra ho wo de yenkwete
Kan Ofori Atta na yere mu de ya lata ni na sa Ghana ni no because me tisi ase na yere mu de ya
na yere yetu
wo de yere mu alata ni na Ghana ni anyway I'm only asking say wa tro krata ba say nikunu surgery na yesi ebe no ya wie na mom be ma no be hia bosome porpore emiensa una me sha se fi innocent ho so you say 90 medical days e kire say eno minim say dey working days na medical days ebia Monday to Friday 90 and I said maybe innocent to be the best person to explain this to us. Many issues saying who medical field. Tony Ho. Enti said the one him that no ebano prostate huni amana there's a new medical technology UK for na in crofobin idea sadia naba first nanka wo Johnson no prostate na semba ho a yitwa okase tenten na ya debi robotic surgery no your body to say pew na ye wie eno no kura na ye wie ya wa cha 3 days you see bibia was assess we person o ye bia no which we here because you correcting a kama na ye the amount but can Ofori Atta de na de ye wie na mmom no ohia bosome porpore miensa na de atiapo otiapo wie na so beba Ghana na waba
sympathize with Ken Ofori Atta because yare de obi to me yare said that be a mesikano and cancer nya de a toso the papa so for him to being exposed to your friend saying such a situation is an ordeal. I definitely know he will have to go through and as a forum. But the what makes this whole thing funny the aspect are the people communicating to the government of this country, the people who are giving out the information and as for because there has been a formal activation of communication between Ken Ofori Atta and the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Any Niama Bia Air Kosubiano, that former channel no should be activated. Relevant information is available. Biano must not even come from Ken Ofori Atta. Maybe the hospital by now should have been able to establish that link. So Ken Ofori Atta agree that kind of communication can be streamlined. Anything that comes to Ghana no will appear to be an official statement coming from Ken Ofori Atta and the doctors. That one is official. We take it for something value. What the analysis are. We cannot base this whole thing on a theory that has been propounded by a wife. are very insignificant in this whole thing. Ekoso. Obetimi aka nensem, but the thing is, can the state take some and wife formally? Abra, the state near ready to go after the person in this particular manner. For me, I think that this whole thing, they are just joking and toying with the people of this country. And I have sat on this platform and I have told you, say, Ofori Atta enye na dreams of Kuruma say. So Ghanaians should just forget about it. So president, ne government, any former channel that has to be activated. So extradition, or the way a man will go after things, Yes, surgery, sometimes you anticipate possible complications, because cancer, if it is true, complications, but some of these things, must not come from a wife. Say, Ofori Atta person taking it serious, man, the doctors actually formally to the office of the special prosecutor or the people of this country say these are some of the reasons why, because we anticipated there may be a possible post-surgical complications, and then we want full recovery for the person. And he says this period then you bet me the number. So whenever you are communicating in that particular line now, a man for will take you serious than a wife or in any medical way, and in some now it's not backed with any fact. Beyond what he will come a basana about resurrected the long held notion and impression. Some of us will say the gentleman is not ready and are not prepared to come to this country because prior to the surgery, and I've told you, say, not on you be another bedridden, or no be a obetimaka or dampum on to me nante, and to me magana, or be on to me flight him then as a phone because you see. Some of these surgeries, ayana and your friend is saying, how do you call it? Surgery, an emergency surgery. Some of these things, sometimes a planned surgery. That is why I'm man long term. So it means that you put for sometimes they give you time and whole lot of stuff. And all this time I can Ofori Atta and Ghana back and forth for so Mayo Clinic was so bad faith. He never demonstrated any good faith, say, or Ghana to account for what things that he has done in this country. And so the Mr. Kachiro, Ghana for are angry and they are in expectant mode. Very often, say, Akaso will be a captain. A man for sympathizer with the person. Say, Akaso will be area. It doesn't matter. The Nipani or enemy crana, you see, say, there is a bit of empathy. But if you go to various social media platforms and you see the way and manner Ghanaians are reacting to this kind of Ofori Atta thing, you could see that there is zero empathy in this whole thing because you know why? Nema Kosu Okroma Ofori Atta at the center of the epic scandals of corruption Kosu Okroma. And we are talking about people who have significantly suffered at the hands of this gentleman. A man from a bank, Papa Kwasindu, when the man is not even well. I will be okay to Numa man for Jumaura and they are dying a Kaura and not or see about things as a man from Betches in the because God Coast, there are several people, Musika woman, Bessino Monsankaya, and there are several other staff at Ecoso. So for me, I think that we need to show that seriousness, that kind of Ofori Atta and demonstrate to the people of this country, say he is ready to account for his crimes because Neamana, Akosu Okroma, he is the masterpiece at the center of this whole corruption puzzle now here try to unlock said that there be a Mexican. And for me I think it's very shameful said the akosunu na on nabusian for are trying to play and toy with the minds of the people of this country, and for me that is the problem. And a captain Nancy me to say let the bia babontia can Ofori Atta family na chokoma special prosecutor say omunyi nabusian omunyi numfiri ya fan Interpol red alert so na a good family anymore say daben you see and I make say society now a team there is absolutely no shame because say nipa was sense of shame and remorse that would be the last thing for them to do, and that was absolutely nonsense. You understand? Because you see maybe some who say abra na ken Ofori Atta kroma no gu amam for bank airborne kwase abosia ye de oye ni nyina na family no mu vacation or China and I know more Zimbabwe. They never heard what happened when the gentleman was out there doing all the nasty stuff. Ghana for you megu Papa Kwasindu Oguni Bank when we had other options, because I mentioned sir in 2008 America had similar challenges when Obama came. There was a tap that is trouble your friends say asset your friends a district where you reliever a buying on the buyer just to buy all these district companies out of your friends debt. and Chase Bank and JP Morgan Chase in more financial way, the government and make it available to go and buy this bank. Because in the financial sector, then banks will have liquidity challenges. In America, last 2 years, about Signature Bank and several other banks, because they all have challenges. Well, what they do is whenever they signal the red signs in the pet, then they try either merger acquisition and I say takeover. Then I say for them, say these options were available on the table. We proposed to Ofori Atta said, no, don't go after the individuals, don't go after the bank. You're Ghana for a year, he never listened to anybody. The gentleman destroy bank, destroy life. Obi a bank manager, we are not to preko or kwan ho. Family no omante. When all this nasty stuff were going on in this country, did you ever hear second Ofori Atta or family Okroma say? When even the MPP as a political party, some got peeved and said, no, the gentleman is destroying our party, and for that matter, and the president will have to take him out. You know? Did you hear any family? When the guy was here as a finance minister, I sat and I told you that he was sick. Man can't tell. Our program way, so I told you that the guy was sick. Because the guy was puffy. At the time, no, the family no any love for that gentleman. And because Komutuno said, no, Ken. At this time, take a break, go and seek care for yourself. You allow him to hang on because at the time, people were enjoying him. People were flying first class. People were enjoying big contracting as a forum. You never spoke. And until now, Ghana for Ofori Atta family, they are concerned about politics and whatever that happens in this country. Go back to your friends at the banking sector. Among for your friends saying, yeah, the Omudi Musika. Ekoto government bond na se for no emerwafo no nkokrafo mu wo kroma omodo mu ni family. I think they should give us a break. Some of this nonsense doesn't fly in the face of logic and in the face of reasoning, and the more we even anger Ghanaians anymore. And it is as a result of some of these things. And in Ghana for are not showing any empathy, sympathy towards the gentleman despite the health ordeals in Nasifo Okom. Because I want to hear Nema Waye no kroma. Now had the current predicament now. There is no way I wait me sympathizing with him because a bidum there on one hospital omu papa ya fa kama pharmaceutical say we senti mine no omu died as a result of all these things and Ofori Atta one way or the other nensa the death of these people because they died as a result of hardship or the ba omo so among for banking sector eku omo okroma nya de ketwa. All these things were going on. No? We never heard of a family realizing said Niamana Yabano Yandi very dangerous until let us come in. When the guy was foolishly borrowing in this country, or the Sika Kinke party because Wakobobosia, Nanya Dam the Wotima Okobobosia. Ya floaty bonda party and we celebrated some of this nonsense in this country and people thought yes they are the intellectuals. Now we all saw what happened and then I tried to get out of the woods. Under him Ghana's economy got junk and all the rating agencies it got to a point the whole Ghana, a sovereign country, could not step out there to borrow money because the gentleman has decapitated the head of the Ghana's economy. We are so I think that the family wherever they are, they should just shut up and give Ghanaians a break because you see, we are not interested in those nasty politics because if they had anything sensible to say, a branch and finance minister, maybe in Kayeniha, what's all these things? I won't follow say, Papa Kwasindo, Papa Yonfane, Jabi, military minor captain, what's say on my life in the you think life I say, for a car, Papa Kwasindo, dear man, I have a friend or a medical doctor there. Nisika was a good cost in about 500 to 600 million and as for Obidia 1 billion, Obidia 3 billion. These things not happen because of Ofori Atta or Bank. If nothing at all, you need to take over because as a government, the economic security of the people no paramount. And sometimes among forecast greed I see said that statement is absolute nonsense because as a state, it is your responsibility to ensure that you regulate these financial institutions so that Ghanaians will not fall because don't forget that. Yes, I know to fly. Oh, it's a fact. Yes, what I say? So those vulnerable people, it is the responsibility of the state to ensure that he protect those people. Now your friends say, consider the who are sorry, I'm 40 teams on Kutin. Now, what one more damn about Sarafa? I was
talking to James when I said that maybe a president and then short down the baby.
Yes,
yes,
and the open the parties on notice and Yamia Sisi in the camera born, said deeper way in Nyansa, or they will suffer. I was as we so by the state, you know, as you want to say, those vulnerable people, no, you take care of them. So, in the same way, look at the financial sector now, Obinya Tisa, Dibiaba, Ebiano Nimuhunim, the Ordinary Kamakushem. So, the state, you know, award that regulatory mechanism, then as a form. It is your job to ensure that you take care of these vulnerable people. You don't allow them to fall prey to some of these enterprises. And these are things that the financial sector. But your friend saying, Captain, Yatsana Kromha, Amasani way in on 40. Near my say, yet to me, Yamani, economy, the Ghana economy that come, and then Yamia drum the dollar ni cedi not stabilize it. Amayaka, a swat slash by down, and Ghana can't we so, and Yakatwa. And it's not as if that these people didn't know what they were doing because the whole concept, the whole motive, you're taking over the financial sector of this country. Now you're making sure that we own it, we control it. Even in opposition, you know, we'll still be in control. But catch any person, we will be a winning answer and winning to me. You should know that the most important thing that has to do with impacting positively on human beings. That is the only thing. Because I told the idea, you will need human beings. It's not about the many assets and so forth. But all these silly guys, when they got the money, you know what they did? Back for Timiko Jina Estate, no, I can't die a bomb 100, no, Tony Jina, way and what way. Nobody focus on humanity building the next generation. And as a first Sabaya, Nipa das and Niba who say, oh, Abraboya, yeah, boy, man, so these are the contribution, Matimaya, man, leave this particular legacy there for the younger generation. Sabaya or Monsono. It is all about ourselves, making sure say, we build a financial empire for ourselves, our family, and the next generation to come. So now what we are saying, we are sure say what you know that you push them to a pedestal. They can make life on their own. You understand that? But these criminals will only make sure say they set their children up forever, and for that matter, no, they will be out of everybody's league. They live with a certain lifestyle. But why ye? I will come no. Na sasi Canada yes, I money no. Your sweat, your taxes, and as for na man for DD. So for me, I think that the states have to be very radical. Makase said John Mahama buy we see Diamond Ghana Nibia. Now to talk more, Bianasa will go after these criminals. Ghanaians will never forgive him, and that is what he should do. And I like the way the Attorney General is going about it. Look at how few people sat at NSS. Me, Eddie and Sakobo, mine sikam Sabayiwa, we on them Kroma, and then Wakota Football Club, and then I say people were hailing her left, right, center. Nobody on his right senses. The question is, where is this person getting this money from? Not knowing, say, they've created a syndicate, a criminal investment, a cartel. And on my year, and on Master ghost names, they are Ghana and Kwan to meet your ghost, not the audacity in Tianaka, and that's a problem. Our ghost names over 80-something thousand. And yet to me, a first state way sika, neither quite their collateralizing their quite loan in as for Sanema when you go to Oklahoma. Banks are no more yes, they knew the fact, they knew what was going on. So for me, I think time has come for us to set the red lines in the sense near country Ghana, and he said, you need a Quenya the Obenya to serve. But Obana be messy up. The laws of the land, you know, need to deal with you. Say by Ghana for who say, or minor, you cannot joke with the country because you see, you create that aura of weakness around us where people come to power, they mess up, and I know that all that they can do. They say, Yamfa ahem from Kopachao, Yamfa Sofoni, Chinian Kopachao, and we will be forgiven. Trust me, we will never go anywhere because there are countries that far larger people that suffer similar fate. The last time I make a the United States of America, Captain, in the year 1973, they had a vice president. Your friend is Phil Agnew. What he did, is not a senator of Maryland. Under him, no, at the time, I know a senator, no, not or evade tax and tax kickbacks and then as for a buyer. When the issue pop up, the people of America make sure said the vice president of the Republic of America will resign. And I'm going to say, your friend said Gerald Ford didn't buy it. Gerald Ford buy a vice president, you know, a year after, somewhere August 1974. And the president now noticed so Watergate scandal falling. That is Nixon. So Gerald Ford is the only person in the history of the world that what the vice president at the president of America will be to Obama because of scandal as we see here. Look at how people have suffered for this. By Hano, people mess up and we think so it's okay, he's a big man, he cannot face prosecution, the consequences, everything, and then you wave you off. And that is the kind of argument people are making. Kind of for that in the life, Ghana, he was dedicated to because and the guy was out there making foolish investments, foolish decisions. And all these things was benefiting him. And it's a reason why I held it on to. Because he was sitting on some of the things that you and they on himself or Soroso Cotenafia and Honsam Baba. At the dying days in a Kufa Unifru, or Unifru will move out of this country. So the air cost not may say a master plan or my draw and I play out. So Ghanaians should not fall for some of this nonsense. Aban should make sure say extradition process must be activated and you making sure say these people young for Mumra Kruma and Mamena no so convicted for a mass log no so I think that process should also be activated. No so Kruma say. You see, we need to be very ruthless in our approach. Now you're making sure, say, you cannot steal from this country and get away. And for me, that has always been my conviction because you're captain. So what to when you call outside Accra? Now you see the way people are suffering. Then as a foreigner, so such a country, we cannot allow some of these things to happen and then people get away with it.
Thank you, Lucius.
Captain.
Bema na hunjo. Yan kwai.
Captain Medasi. I'm fa kwanyes na menchia ahwefu nyina. Menchia ahwefu nyina na menchia NDC fo a benso baje bra be hwe nyina. Na captain yade de obia ni ho ne o wiase ha onyare. Obia etumi yare e ma ne yi. Enti se koba ne se obedi dwuma di bi na se yade be fi ho kwan a eno nko ade yetimi eden yetimi exempt o. Mpanimfo kan asem bi se yisai eyi yade. Enti se oye ohene mpo a usai se o se anadu anopa o bibia ye be fra obia no obeden obeba na mmom yade nko ane yade a ebetimi ama ohene ye be fra na obeka se o mintim nyeden mintim emma enti Ofori Atta yare a ote se onipa bia o wa asase so enti no ebetimi aye nokre se oyare na mmom se woni obi den edi nkita ho a se otimi respect nipa no nso ni nyansa wati ase se otimi ema amanfo hu se onipa yi so o nyansa odwen enti no enka in the first place no Ofori Atta se oyare a ye no mu binum ye nya doctors enti no se o pese oni ye communicate a ni papa mu ye se babi a ukoye a ye hwe wo no se utima saa hospital kro ana se doctor kro no oyeden ochro na otimi edebra OSP na ono nso etimi eden ekenkan se ono kra ntinsem na ewo krata no mu ase a megidie se your doctors akukudam wo ho a bebetimi ayeden akan na ba analyze e bi a kire special prosecutor say yade asumasi no wo yeden wo yare me no wo kasa yi ye timi to ye nsafro OSP to ne nsafro na what make you excuse from January and I mean can say February no ho no ne issue we started say oto ne nsafro wa time bia o de yade eni yi ho ano yade na wo di yi ho ano no so nyina na akwa echi say wa mom no te ho no ma o churchron krata ede bre OSP na ene ya ye kan ho asem yi ene de kra mpo de akwakoye o wife o yiri mom ne ne de ono ka kire Ghana fo se yade na o yare no ene wakwakoye surgery no awie eni nti no obeba in 3 months time. Now the question is that sa information you know ehefa no wife edi free or no communicate as a surgeon or no mom eye operation no no or no e report ya Ghana for anaasɛ or communicate as a personal aid anaasɛ sɛn wahu nti wotimu sɛ ɛnya de a Ofori Atta na busuafoɔ be respect Ghana for be muye in the first place because wohwɛ ne ya communication na ɔde bae no needless na kyɛ sɛ kura mpo de kame akɔyɛ te sɛ ɔno no ato information na ato abɔnten sɛ special prosecutor pa ɔnkɔfa na ɔnhu sɛ ne kunu no ayɛ dɛn akɔyɛ surgery ɛno nti 3 months time ne ɔbɛba na unsɛ ɛno na Ivan ɔhyɛ ase ɔkɛɛ sɛ special Ofori Atta ɛnyɛ n'adwen sɛ ɔbɛba Ghana nnɛ aba Ghana kyena enti ɛno aho tricks no wayɛ den wahyɛ ase a ɔyɛ no and mene no nso yɛ adwen asasɛm na ɔkan mene no yɛ adwen in the first place na enu kwansa special prosecutor ɛyɛ nhwɛha ma Ofori Atta efiri man mu
there be said that time no be an issue any arrest order be for him
say na yɛ information na wopɛ sɛ o investigate no enti wopɛ sɛ o investigate na nipa no ha no nko ade na ɛsɛ nka otimi yɛ den wo hwɛ investigate na ansa na wakɔ but sabre ya wakɔ akɔdi hɔ die ɛbɛyɛ den wahu ɛni ntino nneɛma meka de akɔ wie sɛ saa way of say Ofori Atta no na busuafoɔ wo hɔ no ma na busuafoɔ aka akyerɛ sɛ o red alert a na ato wonyini mfiɔ wo hɔ ana ne yere enso de communicate eba wo hɔ ana nti kyɛ sɛ kame akɔyɛ te sɛ buo na ne bɛnyɛ den be mu Ghanafoɔ this is somebody a watena Ghana high say atimi ayɛ den adi nsamɔne bebree ama busuafoɔ ɛte hɔ ɛhwɛ Ofori Atta and ɔde yadeɛ eyi no ho ano but time ana MPP wɔ so nyɛma bebree ɛkɔ so Captain Okai ɔfrɛnsɛn man Williams Tevi NCA charge bi a yɛde bɔ Williams Tevi about $4 million corruption bi scandal papa not every week bi a no worry na issue na katita ɛhyɛ no but every week bi a no ɔkɔ court twice every week ɔkɔ court twice ɔkɔ Tuesday no wasen akɔ Thursday per sitting bi a no ɔkɔ spend 4 hours until within the week na man no spend 8 hours ɛwɔ court MPP for hu ni mobo sɛ obi a ɔwɔ renal issue a katita hyɛ no ɔkɔ tena court na katita hyɛ no ɔde te court 4 hours within the week ɔkɔ twice ɛno ne nyinaa akyi no bamfa no ho ankyɛ no bɛsan jeli 16 years where near MPP for 18 years no asase so but jeli 16 years na jail no nyinaa no ɔsan kɔ maritime hospital every year bia from offense prison no akɔ maritime hospital enti oda jail nyinaa no ɔsan hwɛ no ho yade enti sɛ yetim de yade yie ho anu sei dia ɛma ne yeyi a adenti a ho no mom no hotimi prosecute obi nie ɔyare atwina de no kotu na ho de hu nipa de MPP for no pese sometimes be pese paint picture bi I say be first class human beings bi a Bernard ye say be mom ne issue no fa be ho a justifiable but say any other person bi a de a ene yemfa no famra kwan so na nsan ya ya chi wu ntumi a na be ye woyo waya yi kwabnado for case bechi kwabnado for obi a obeye deputy governor esan be governor then time bill terms abedi man no 100 million ene no na ye chairman wu ntumi de be ye hu dede saa enti no captain de me kan de akɔwie say Ofori Atta obi a wa mamanfo bebree awu wɔ Ghana ha wa mamanfo bebree anya ɔfrɛnsɛn yadeɛ a ne bɛko bɛ yadeɛ wate ase banking crisis ya Ivan kan ho asɛm na there wasn't any banking crisis bia ɛyɛ artificial ban be create be share that create say oh na banks no issues because na the minimum requirement a banks no ehia Ghana high say 120 million ne ba nkasa betena ase hyehyɛ say yankuku minimum capital requirement emfa nko 400 million ne ba kuku ye from just 120 from 120 million to offering 400 million now for the time ahode ama banks no say benfa ntu asa 400 million no just about 1 month be ko first can wo he wo wie ya nipa no antimi anya sika no antwia wo and the bank no kra no onye liquid enti no se me yeden me revoke ni licenses obi o ha no wa frɛ no say wo pede a and je say consolidate ya keka bom obi o ha je say egu no na wo yes anu ho de gu amanfo banks e wo krom ha sei ne nyina no na ye wo Ofori Atta wo na wo ye den wo da no wo na wo di sa aduma no nyina before NPP ebeba na sa wo Ofori Atta wo banks no wo business no na enru ba bia adri but na ho wo adwempo bi say ho pese ho ba ba create some kind of financial empire and then yes Japadia document na ebeto obi na amanfo ka ho asem no because na ba bin nyina ebe say bebeduru a beba be create financial empire yengugu amanfo banks yen say amanfo nyuma eno no saa ni betimi ama yen so yetima eden yetima ba be control system no ne ne ba ya ase amanfo nyuma organ high say last meeting say na we interview amuabe issue no ka se Ofori Atta before obe na say wagu ne bank no amuabe bank no ona oni fia anado no ahu obi a oye wo ankasa wadamfo o tim bet na ofie ni hu enu didi wonim pefe say o ba begu ne bank eno no kra mpo no wan ka hwe anche no ade a chen ye na wo ho titi mu na nipa no te ye ne say wagu ne bank nipa bonefo sem we se ofa Dr. Indom bank na begu no wo ni companies dodo na be save wo sa bank wo de ma Dr. Indom kura bo from sa de no because na companies no dodo na GN electronics GN credit GN farm GN media GN whatever ni na ben so be save wo GN bank who collapse banks no sa companies ni nyina sika na wo GM bank no kwanfa amano kwanfa miskana amano sa companies na save wo sa GM banks ni nya sika na ewo hono no who collapse ne who seize who freeze sa accounts ni nyina na se wotena ase obi se ya ena na ayi kan Dr. Ndo na ye friend no adwuma wura ono no create adwuma organ ha manipa bebre enya bi ye no ene ninyuma ni nyina hwagu no kame akoya che se won create adwuma bi ada you see yentena wiase enye saa ene ya ayi offense ye ka won se na wo ka ayifo asem wo sofu ya asem about ono so ka se National Cathedral ye ma be $25 million me ya sambe ma be 25 million Ghana cedis enu mom me ye den eya de a sika be mom ben sakaye so kame akoya te say enu the 58 million na Ghana for nyina ka ho
aso no kra de dada o that time na fe ne ye 28 na ma o enti no ye Pentecost aso dem was Square Church of Pentecost PIWC Pentecost International Worship Center and na all chirib say that time no na ye mo sha say na 3 months into the administration of the cathedral no na buy no more $28 million and $25 million na no na parliamentarians ntia say but then no sikare beto my account no na nye government money as my papa kan no
and no oka source say na nye government
money
yes serious na government money wahu enti Ofori Atta adiboni bebre organ ha ya ene no sa ayi public sympathy na open no on merit because enam ono ne nsamone a wadi so ama nipa bebre awu kurom ha sei enam ne so ama nipa bebre see saa ayi domestic debt exchange ya or the buy you know enipa bebre pensioners ana be sika ewo wo banks a na at least be pebidia to aduro mpo keke aduro obi a wakọ pension a ono ni sika wo bank o pebia to aduro keke kura na onya eno so ni masa ayi pharmacies ya wo kan na semu no eno so ni odi wuyi how entino captain mena de megidie say Ofori Atta nye ready say opese oba Ghana but ye hear more commitment from the OSP kame akwa say Ghana for asha kase we benje da hu how committed bia say OSP no what you say and again we hear no free hon ma ye wo other matters so why say OSP no or den ohwehwem onye no ohwehwem because Ghana no ya aboka yes ka kodi amanfo ho ache this is the time say to me then yet retrieve yes ka Ghana high see captain
is done
maybe that's it hey that time answer oh let me check mam time kaka na yen share rent issue no Ketu ana bibi no person
yeah I think that
separate
I think that cathedral issue no yes it's issue back on the table so we can't overlook it because opade back on bogan economy to krupa back on no and you see the air cost union I've seen said the very people mulidi charge for this senseless enterprise yedi esika ko shame no the all of them are feigning ignorance just like papa Ikan say no nim na yedi what board so na $25 million free baby to account to as a reasonable person you are quite to know where the money is coming from meboa $25 billion enye sika ketwa
me former chairman akasa sa chere no
se sika to account to man you should be able to inquire to know the source of sa nema we na ya te ha yenko so no. Because if we look at personalities, we don't look at the deeds that they do. Because these are people more studied to a higher level, no? They should be asking all the critical questions. Me young man, I shouldn't be the one to ask this question. They are the grown men. Or more what that particular intellectual weight to be able to ascertain all this. Captain, yet to come at the time and yes, I am man. Now I'm Krama from North, Eba Kumasi by Kayaye. Yes, yes, Kaya Yamomo. And some of the villages, you know, Nipana and Moa and Numinsuo from the same stream. Now we are suffering a mini panel between the Nimusian Fagana, Sikankosi Cathedral. When if Rena unity could have walked Koleburu, we couldn't finance people. We answer however. These are issues that we need to talk about. Listen, you see, some of this nonsense, and I entertain Okroma or mine on Kosovo because me, I got pissed off when that particular
$25 million
cathedral for the cathedral impact ni there. I'm not mutu yeah. Me say Ghana is serious country. That man will not go to.
That I'm on video.
Me say Ghana is serious country. And Kenya sorry and over kwatena or chirichiri because I'm in jail cell and on am no chirichiri because Ghana is serious. It's the reason why they are still working. Yet to come and say. And Kranketwa Sabi, who said that enterprise was senseless. We didn't need to. So for one say Bonsam for Bonsam na boy pa because sorry make sure that we can build hospitals, we can build schools and make sure that we empower young people because in the world no APC. Look at how countries are investing in technology, advances, AI, robotics, and as for trying to reposition their young kid to take advantage of the world that is emerging because most of the job when you go digital on digital platforms you need to train your people to take advantage so sika na dey yes ane money nyina but make a children say see sika cathedral nyankopon de born be chai na 100% nyankopon fa de born be nche no captain we are not serious nyankopon de born be chai say civil war ba avete na ye kwa ye heavily food ye the man and Israel man and na so for ba be gum Israel peace im ro way. We need to get serious in this country. Brasa, I never win. I can't answer some chair. They didn't listen. I know the day, you know. It got to a point I didn't jeans. And we were software we actual letter. My resign. We actual letter. Now my resign. And I'm telling you that these people are coward. Even the courage to tell Ghana for say we are sorry because in some muhu you know we are resigning. None of these cowards and was able to apologize to the people of this country. All that they did, they said I have uncovered corruption, so I am hesitating where when the crime has already been committed. And America say Ghana is a serious country. each one of these people need to be bundled together and you're making sure say we are not witch hunting, but we need to investigate every one of them. Obia exercise discretion, a very stupid discretion, and now so my Ghana lusu sikano. We need to. They didn't know say you could judges dying to. They didn't know say baby and I question near the farm for life. They didn't know say I didn't hear the intimate Amana betu. Because you are not sat here and I told you said there is no way between a complete cathedral because funding and as a phone, you never was no mark for my sika. Parliament kwa ya mona mande enti osofo na mugu board no so sika no bae no umbisa hu ba bia sika no free omo so omo ye fundraising omo kwa bonte kwa ye fundraising sika be no mo de ba kroma omo bo mo de ka ne bae. And I think that you see sa nema we na ya ma manfo play on our emotions for all this why in the name of this God the meaning say yasum nyame do impact on people just to make positive impact say be ye betimi aboa build the moral faculties in us. But then is that what some of the churches are doing? And the church na dan magic ne your friend say we na malam sem na yet church na ye obi the bag is one wa chanting na sika gum na ye design name this nonsense we are displaying for people to watch. I think we need to get serious and move beyond some of these things. See your church and the whole essence of church and say yam building the moral facilities within people so by people will be responsible, integrity and that kind of way. Look at the society. The moral fiber of this society is shattered and broken. You can't trust human beings now. You can't trust the right thing. We push people to government. Even churches nankasa corruption. This is the responsibility of our religious institution, both Muslim, Christian, and as a form. And magic. And then the say making sure that you impact positively on people. Sabaya Captain Smart bedin okre. Captain Smart had never to baby. Because of some moral foundation ya bedu or munitino. Oh yeah, dear crowd besuro. Look at the society we live in. Do you see those things? Because the churches have moved from that moral education, you know, a magic. Say sanse mununo, and I take over the space. Nobody is teaching Obi a choir so bra ankasa. And the reason why we are here. So for me, I think that we need to set a sample with these people. Now you're making sure, say, next time or mind seeker, you'll be very careful. It doesn't matter where you are. See a casa cathedral when I be near say ya. Junahona Junahumi say Sikana ya de mameno, I am Rakanson, I fire de mamen. Nasasania is not as he said they didn't know. They knew because some of us were out there telling them all these things. Any say yes, I know. They never listen. Let me back to the rent issue. Look at the problem. Housing deficit because and then housing a big issue. And this is can think into me. You tell about me promises or behind them my young people. Now young people be behind them movie. Empower the people, let them work or work or not behind them. I don't need government to rent for me. For how long? You understand?
That's right.
Provide them job. Or Jumana out of the proceeds, no one can behind them. Housing deficit is all over. Saglimaesi or we are not more far. So, Captain, I think the rent issue here, one issue, government will have to pay attention to because Accra, a draining a lot of young people. And I done the man, yes, 2 years, 3 years. That's the kind of amount. But Emrao Hose, you can't even take your rent advance more than 6 months. Emrao Ho, I think the parliament is working on that particular law to push it to 1 year. But these things are not working. So I think that at the government touch about Ghana for those areas. We need to say president say new capital. For me, I think that at this time, it's unnecessary for now because you see, if you look at some of the towns like Uko, your friends say Teshi Labad in Nasafona. Some of our dynasties, why don't you come out with a plan and redevelop these areas? Land never we see how you can give the ground floor to the family, then the about Tosso Abontimbiano. Government can rent it out, people will have a place to stay, and it will decongest Accra. We don't need to move to go and build new city anywhere. Right. I think that decongestion, say yes, I am on a bit more creative space for a month for a take away some of these challenges.
All right, Nana Machinawa was saying, I love listening to Ivan. Is he married? No. Yes. Ivan is not married, but you are engaged. Lucius, that's it. That's the message he sent to me.
Why? Oh, sir, Casa, say. Oh, Casa, no, I mean, can say involuntarily, no, ever.
Wakatwi sa abro no mbe.
Captain National Cathedral no de we say ya ka bibiri but ni na no e ka me say corruption na ya so na no wa hu e ka ho bi ene ma saa ne ma no nyina etimi eden etimi koso say president sorry ka say oye project bi ti sa in the first place we say okay say enya de say obeyisu oman sika time anana nado na dwen say oba be si National Cathedral no okay say enya de obeyisu oman sika ne dia eden ediasi na mom ewi akire no se wo be yusu o man sika na na se wo yusu o man sika no asase na wo akosi no so na ye o man no de asase nso kra na enye petem asase a na eda ho asase a na ye wo project bebree wo so ye wo buildings bebree wo so a ukobubu ayi adan no ye den etugu yi wo ye no so kra firi ho no ma wo ka se obeba be ye ayi appeal for fund bio se den na enu mom ne wo de ekwa de wo de kwa akosi na man for bi say ntu ye sure say sa appeal for fund now ba be ye no enu mum betimi asi National Cathedral and no me gidie say asofo a beto board no so a na be hwe say National Cathedral na ebesi no be mum na say nka be di nokre what ya say ha be mum na say nka be di nokre na mum nokre die bi antimi anyeden antimi ama
ambeda di nokre anya omo na omo san like forest ayi omo se galam so omo koto ye na ara ya sase ni se ko paye no this are hypocrite
wahu enti no nokre die antimi anyeden antimi ama captain hwe say ye trans na so niema bi musu se ya won Ghana no enya dia ye bekoya nimda what ya say ene me no woka say no sa National Cathedral na ankasa kra no me gidie say bibia na course ho meti say ayi bribi say president care say be ye hu adumo say bisa me feel say e ho no kra de no kwan say ye diska bia ko ho bi
Ebi onsi mahama onsi
ai enu kwan say diska bia ko bi
also de be ye mother and child hospital
good enti ayi board na ye set up no so no they should call them to account and in the enya say bia be ba be che say ye the 25
so for nka hunti we say yen call for account when so for nko jail
oh say yen ka say jail say ya mo
sika account $25 million and to kro na da ono
na say mutu mu so for nkan fa no hon
oh say na person ka yo person nyam kaseti
mutu mu so for
captain wa ni say
I person nyam kaseti
captain unu say ohene ba so nto ate what you say aha ye to ata na say wo de wate besi so a na onim say edi na obeka say wo ye hene banti ma ye mfa ate na
nto ate no bi
an ye nto ate no bi enti unim say wo ye sofo na de to board so na bia sika fa ansa to na ye be flow for accountability na le obeka say wo ye sofo an ye flow board bia so a enko what you say na mo okonko ade na say di sika ma wa enye enough so obegina Sunday ma kire sika a ebeto account mu
Ghana for na here on press conference
on board so no da na da Ghana board so enti sabe we say no se betim be den ebe account o account ya na say ayi hu so a say ne ayi bele say uti mfita nti amwanku so ahu enti no benya da obenya oti adidim eni nti no corruption he ya adoso he ayi na no abaya ya oni na National Service one he ne why no ayi gan ono de oye kronfo ankasa what I say because niema na oye no ho no say what na ase na say odwen ho tumi say o share that pass say oni ni kunu be bo Ghana fo kro no because want to inflate ayi figures National Service for a be wo ho no na ayi number no why no times be 2 na wo mom odeko na say the sika no ma wa na wa divert the akogu offense and private account wo wie nso a wo tim National Service for dimbe 900,000 na wo de akọ serve as a collateral na de akọ secure loan about 30 million
so de amano
eye krono ankasa na sa ba yo na dwen say obebo oman no what you say eni nti yentim ntena se enso so sa nema we so sa se ka say ye tena se ane oman no bebo
bedase ebusanfo no kwasem monyame nim se yesi yebedi MPP for krono omobo ye chia wo ho medo nyame na na do fie of flowers na ebetutu akodua no wonsawom yesi yebedi krono MPP for boy ye chia wo ho ene niam omo ye wo ha nka kofa do fie ho ni ma ho flowers ni nyina yesi etutu ni nyina de ko nsawom kodua ho eso mo nyina koje ko se nso kra de gu su kra na corruption ska base ye hwe yɛhwɛ ne ɛwura bɛyɛ first na $1,000 na wo check in yie pa $1,000 no JB Boame times 17 na yɛ say first na say $1,000 ɛbɛyɛ 17,000 Ghana cedis ɛna sɛ nyame adom dollar no kɔ Bank of Ghana sɛsi a Bank of Ghana rate no ɛyɛ 10 cedis 12 pesos black market for na ɛsesa 11 cedis 10 cedis 12 pesos it was last year we say we lose 17,000 Ghana cedis we lose 7,000 Ghana cedis it's onye and he said the abai dan say oh we dey first time $1,000 but they say they am 18,000 cedis obo we be too a man telling mabawa e bobra e wo memha yina no won sikari na akwache rent bibini au meboa bibini ye ni po se ya me no kasai no bisamauto say the rent ye say bisantaru say bosume so an rent ye say pato di ni say wani debi ya na ma confuse ma auto ni edem I don't know bisa edem say bosume so an otua say bisa Stevenate say bosume so an rent say ade ba ko ma hunu wo asase so say said Mesopotamia time no na ye hwe nwan dodo a wo ansa ya jewo enwan akatua na ya ma ba bi atena sɛ wo nwan miensa ye ntimi nji odwan muya baako de ne ye de wo ye ne sɛ mawuto e wo nwan miensa opa ba bi atena because baby otra ne nso to ha na opentamadan atrem aye ne ye friend bro nya dan na ye be ma mawuto akwachi ne dwan baako ne wakunu na wachemu enso na ono afanum na odi mienu no abreme a me won tamadan no na me ne me yere ne me ma ye de aye nkwan na ye di na ono nso wafanum ebese ye o so be hu o so be totum ye hia nso waku no ba se se ya me no ka sei obi o wa ne boso aketo 1,000 Ghana cedis boso bi ane de aketo 500 ebe de sa nipa ne betumi survive gwen bibini au bibini how can you survive but so we would try danka 1,500 Ghana cedis out of your 1,000 Ghana cedis. Aketuya, how can you survive? Okay. It is 500. No, what if you almost market you anymore? I can't almost market you 500 Ghana cedis. Let me ask you this question: send out the electricity. Send out the tone so nom. Any so out the jare. Send out the trade the na send out the befaka akose adwuma na ankasa na ye 2,000 Ghana cedis no. So it tells you that assembly Saint Thomas Aquinas and Saint Augustus a proposed here over 2,000 years before Christ was born or whatever time, I don't know. It tells you say ancient Mesopotamia time no what drilling nipa ho chen
Captain Smart.
Say ya me no ka say enso to. When him JB, what realize that and crying if you for 2 years May ending June and July that time the rainy season and crying so if you for so 2 or man hint April ending some to dining me too because why would him say you see May pet near ko see rainy season him afei na wutwa wo fiewura kwan de ya kura de se wo fiewura no ote abrochiri so wo fiewura de te abrochiri a wo friend WhatsApp a e bia na nko because Ghana ha no data signal no nyɛ strong it woni wo fiewura kasa no another call be fam na ese discussion no it is wo fiewura te abrochiri a ese wo kɔpɛ sika kɔtɔ credit a wo de be friend America na Japan ne wa na woni fiewura no a negotiate bibini fiewura be srew pacho catch agent no say onya botrema me wate me yere nyem me yere awo sesia me no ka say medjuma say me ye adwuma bank ye yimadi me medjuma samay basa pacho sese kura me kodwuma ye ntade ene ade me man school fees ni ade na woni wo fiewura negotiate because fiewura na ma warning wo April ending because say me twempe ya tiesi June nso ototo no we you ne ma gu abonte wontimi hwe say entade a wabɔ besia ato in so tongu so ti wo dia memene fe na ma na bi bo adwaman no that is why sometimes I think that when you see a single mother, help her. Because some of them, the things they go through before they are able to find a place to lay their head, only God knows.
He is smart.
I'm telling you.
Unique. He is the best. Captain Smart is the king.
If you say, when you careful, June, if you're being in near me go about it, say, I'm no say, oh, I am your phone line, not checking the pardon. You want near me go about it, what brand so at all. Rent. A man here won't cry. And in Croatia, same or Ghana, how my brother saying in Nano, and yes, you, and then I get you. It's a Musume Basuna will seek our Boadu in Nano, who could you danka. Who are here radio stations, TV stations, now from sales executives, you know, I am Brofoka Krakakwa, Yansa be a name, Infasu be a name. We share by man one on a train pronounce me a sales executive our in TV3, sales executive our in Ewunia, sales executive UTV, sales executive join. Omo we need tro. Okofa advert the body 3%. Some percentage look to become 6 months, 7 months in trial. Who ba who shall be some. We share be also me a sales executive of what or commission.
Wait. Bibini nipa ye pa ka say
now I come commission 10,000 and the aba we commission 5% 500 Ghana so when you 5% of 10,000 Ghana cedis 500 Ghana cedis discussing on the top to bukan Lord Ferdinand na girlfriend na uti fi wona why wa no pose say wo madada see abrodu nkwa no ye de sa sika man wo eno afufuo na adi ye no check nkwan na ma wo 500 Ghana. Africa pani yetimi kukuru title manipa. Wana sika nka ho. Yes we or your production manager. But so or 1,800. We or a director of a show check it 2,380.
Wait.
Africa pani kukuru title manipa na ketu nka ho. Why minister said no Minister of Agriculture. But so I get to say 229 or 39,000 Ghana cedis. Now obite state institution be so a CEO no your man 70,000. It's only that minister. I have my young and young mama be a we him and no. Back to the main topic. It's rent a biggest issue say woman ha. Jay ku 4 time. Me papa Jay Otiasi onwui. Honorable Hackman Owusu Agyman Otiasi onwui. Yawo Osafumafo Tiasi onwui. These are the guys I know very well. That is why anytime I am citing examples, I mention their names. Until recently, I never had any time to mingle with NDC. No. Then na ye launch affordable housing ewo Kumasi Asokoro Mr. Honorable Hackman Owusu Agyman, I asked a very simple question that day. I remember, was it Kwame Dinkan MC? No, it was Kwame, but I introduced the minister. It was I think something like that. Either say, me MC na Kwame introduce you. Honorable Hackman Owusu Agyman, na Hackman we President Jay Kufobe Kasa last, and I say Kwame na MC na member introduce everyone. What I've forgotten. I mean, it's like that because when they Kwame na ekuta microphone no. Yeah, we no me bisa Honorable Hackman Owusu Agyman. They call Kumasi Airport. No kwatena Antrak. Sa Antrak na kai ekunu. Ba jebi. Passion Air Force me Father's Day ade mra. So me kan me am de ma wa. O ma sa te o mo fair so say okokuma say interest kaka say o mate so 10%. Passion te wo mo scan so okokuma say okonka okotamale okon o mate so 10%.
Wait.
Say I have for and say okwa ntuka why when your car mo no ba men drive what tra plane m kokuma say what passion pilot no so mo ye correct say na say urade jakopo plane na ntre mo e dey say me tra passion mu amitimi da o abaku bi no I had many ntimi ngum I'm zero I was no passion all the way anyway if I don't change as I advert a movie Mr. Man, facha me why? But passion tremu e de, ultra passion mu e de pa. To me, I no pay the flight. I'm telling me mobile. We have them more. Bisa fiat ago. Ba kubi ana da no ya de ko ho ba bi. Eji yo tago Jesus I say, madam, shut up. Jesus be ya ntna passion. Ankatago on tem Jesus. Ana tago ntna plane mu da. Ah, don't tell me that. I'm ntna plane. 2024. They go Kumasi go people assemble am de tago ntna plane. So ntna people da. Ore e yatiti. I'm trying to play the muda. Oh, Mr. Mayadi, but the tago at the plane.
What really send me?
Jesus! That is a order. Come on to say, a passion. Can we have show? Passion, my friend, I'm Michamo. Minimo be our holiday, but let me say just good morning to all of you. I love passion. That's why I'm saying it. I love it. On BBI fine pa, a very fantastic airline. You find on Tunche. Eti rent. A big issue. Now the honorable Hakman was right by the airport or Kofa and Trakaba. Antraka. Tell me you. And I'm say honorable. A pay a day na. Ye mrantia ye wo Kumasi abontenso. Me nyamia ya madom. Krobi asante kotoko hene Ghana hene otumfo say to baby omura ame sori mu asema wana mama chenya ado ma chenya wakati abokrom hene say ma menana idan me baby am kwatan obokrom otumfo na ma instruction na ma me dan tenam eti nyash na me 7 bedrooms 2 big halls na me 250 Ghana so we demand me catch now. But a dime poor Makumako 7. Paul me new. When you must also 50 Ghana. Because O2 for my instruction. Now I'm going to Wadaroma. You come in them papa precope. Agra Mache Bru. Bijili so hoye. Me who watch it. Some took an besra. Maybe besra what Obi o tie bi on fra bokom hin kan chan sam sim pana cha o ma fe no be ba besra no etimi mi ti ye be ban kran foforo ye de mi fi bokom hin ho ekotra stress so and ye my former boss Afro the Capitola captain bla
Gewuye.
Here na person na am se betra sa Fox, as a doom, Okata, Casazo, over to Jagger.
Wait,
And after 2 years, mammy free. Maybe a ban rent a year, and I'm a 2 year cacra. Oh, and after 2 years, we are not coming to him.
wait,
But 2 years, no crana, yo, a boami. 82 years ne so ye no but answer na make what di 2 years no was stress no not the market na hotel o se fie bim e wo nhyiaye so me hye ho sa be 7 months and weti no am be bank ran multimedia for me tena hotel 6 months so almost 7 months because baby I kwa chem ya me se me mpe because na me de mani ato baby afro de me kwatran no e ho fefefe edwaye kama ya totals ya dem bank ran ya dem kwatra baby a edwaye ho ya totals cement ne yegu concrete am se nan ne ma ko de me fi kuma se tas ba be duru kran ba ka chen so be ma me concrete edwaye menna ya de me kwore ya de baba I ended up patch water multimedia to 1 year per 7 years am die no mtu am dan ka 1 year na de aka nane so de bo me ho ana president Kufo ka chem se ti kan abrabo no wan to boase udu sika no udu hwe man to udu sika no udu fafa dropi e mama no otopa na otopa now to President Kufo ka otopa be 20 otopa na otopa na one boys canano. Yeah, I'm Fabian Sidai. Yeah, baby, I'm 40 and 2. Abrabon one kind. Bad amount. My answer, man, topa. But to swan to baby. Into man to baby. A pandiamato, yeah. Man to pan baby. La caca. Any Tanta Hills.
He is a boy. He didn't she? Obi is a boy.
Biana, a quenja, miminya, and wenya. I'm not faulting you. Because area say away. We have classmates, but we don't have grace mates. You can be my classmate, you can be my course mate, but you can never be a grace mate. Maybe the grace I enjoy, you don't enjoy. Maybe the grace you enjoy, I can't enjoy. But you can be my classmate, you can be my course mate. You can never be my grace mate. It's not Brabona, yeah, born. Man, you want to have a haircut and smart one born. But I say, my quarter today with 4,500 Ghana cedis. And I shall so compare sister with Tingu Kuku. Because they be an advert womb. To me, the amount 3,000, only 1,500, but I count. Intadi a chef yata go no many cookie no many bella muina fire renter.
Le.
If ya media jana for fetel ani ba no besusu no akopa ba say no pew eno anye pew say ye few say nye few be hye ya pa ma.
Menya Ghana ni bio.
Tu mu say hye mama wadwen koso because you can never be our grace mate and we can also not be your grace mate. Obi grace e wa asase so nyina so be fa trotro sa kosi so be wu. Wani which one time that is your grace. You will end there till you die. Nyame amose ye na yenye yie. Ye na yenye yie da kosisi ye be mo so phobia and that we are all created in the image of God. Mate your obofo ye pam ne fi so betena asase so ye friend obronsam. Me your obofo te so ye sa friend nje Michael. We na they were all created by God. Imagine ye djuma. Unye ska bobo anu kakra. Emfa hwe mato. What to pizza kakra ye jai. What kwasua bra jai. Tosment de jai jibino. Eti amanfo bra wo bo asase so nyina sikari na kodi rent mi. Sese me ka se obi su oti abonten. Ade ya pa ansa wa retirement na ofi wura tu. Everybody tofia kwa we de mani sam tiri hunko. Say JB tiwe pa no we this say yes. Or retirement. Ne JB ne fe wura tu no. Oh. Whoa. Enti bi busa honorable Hakman owusu ageba ye de ne kodu Kumasi airport say ebede na ye mrante nketenkete a ya sha ase ye benya dan ni bia han o say ye wo single room self contained me kan bibia tro me no mienu ama ne hunu me ka to say nkran ha na mbete sa akasa no ba na me do afi Hakman di kan bi kire me say ye benya single room self-contained. You been 2 bedrooms, self-contained. Now, young guys, no, that time, 2007, 2008, they say 68,000 Ghana cedis, 680 million. Now, that's how the most market you say.
That's
how Kwame Dinklage, the highest paid presenter in the whole of Ghana. Not to Kumasi, he was the highest paid presenter in the whole of Ghana. No, the most market you say. Kwame Dinklage nipa odi kan wo Ghana ha oye presenter company talk car man no free. Na your pay record. Na red.
Captain Smart, the king of morning shows.
That time na adesri na company car na kofa won a wonim di na wonim ni na company car na kofa won. Ebinim kura fa taxi na eko. Kwame Dinklage is senior. On the can start morning show on Ghana. Morning show ye na Kwame Dinklage start senior man. Joe Salute. Kwame Dinklage start morning show on Ghana ha. No be anya morning show. You need be a friend morning show. Kwame Dinklage start here. Ti mama obi amfa glory ni nkomo obi anya Captain Smart start morning show. Na me men ho kura. Kwame Dinklage start owie tech. Ah no morning show. Na me SS2 o Apam secondary school. Say ya me to me 1 2 okay you me free me hide dan Tago or high day, says you are 20 soon, good, only favor to do.
Wait. Le.
Tago to us, say, or young queen, if you're a bit to do. JB, Upa, what the answer political situation to say Kwame Nkrumah, or you feel a bit to know.
Wait.
I would say, dent in a year rent. It's here, Obiana on the youth of this country. And one day, much less, I think I can do that tomorrow. Must start renting my way. Said the Abeya, you better proper land policy. Proper rental policy. Yeah, rental policy. Papa didn't say, na advance to 6 months. Mpacho. Say, see, as a Fiat go behind them were easily gone. Said Abeya or Bebe Drum ha. Near Sebusumbia on 3,000 Ghana cedis, $1,000. Wabre Fiat go on the bus market to ya, and $500.
Money.
Abana no betua. Eti edai hwenti nipa na ye ye nanso yen.
Eno na mentia se na medu ho.
Captain.
Police are here bibi mama me.
The king of
Ye nanso yen. Eti baby a wote no, wote kasoa e na wo ba adwuma wo osu.
Adai.
Ta ma na obeda sorry.
Menya Ghana ni bio.
Wo da ya no ani so atew.
Adai.
Eti wo na krampo so nti wo bedru office na adwene ntimi nsisi so na watimi aye ne ye. Rent is killing us. If you care to know.
Captain Smart.
A lot of companies lay off workers because company ni rent. Anameboa. Baby, a company need to know or rent. If you run up to dine a company, no, at the office name, and the Jacoba in answer, Sanitaria Captain Smart, Quatrafie, Mauto, Quatrafie, Adam, Kofi, Nyash, Ko, JB, Wono, Wakatuano, Yachem, Antaru, Wosodiano, Yachem, Godwin, Yachem, Fiatago, Yatesukakra, GH boy, Yudi.
Lakaka.
Captain Smart.
Said you buy a company, ni bet me a boasikano, extra rent, and yes, the company will cease to exist.
So,
Rent. Yamfa bibi Anton Chain. Sa utu kwa nko kumasi no bi ma baby that one day as ani pa no ko nko ahira no. Maybe you don't understand. Any party baby ensuo to eduju na ensuo afa won. But so otu say ya every of anko baby ensuo fa na ehe na okwa kwatena. Sika edi han dan no ebi ni ho ono amu na adwuma sai won so se on tu free of anko nsuo nim na aya na nkrofo bi ya woka na wo da tinsuom na nsuo ta na wo da tinsuo nim hey bra yisika kwa no so nko han dan so onje a
Oniama chi o
woka say mre on so ono de nsuo ta na ono na yere ne ma be gina bonten se omu ntimi na. You think it's an easy thing? Police here Professor Opokuina cathedral message ni mamoate
Oniama chi o
friend cathedral lead
Captain Smart.
You be bossa. You think it's an easy thing? Obabia University. Now the hostel na co school ne papa na ne maame na tua papa na wu maame ne kura de ono to bidie o de kofa he wate atom se team o de na nkran bonten so wo hia na wadwen yo so ya hye woni man ba bi ntena na hwe bo se so yo ba wo suman pa
Oniama chi o
right see young ladies in be brave adana hye wo for forgive me but I want to sound plain so you could understand and feel the emotional attachment this morning. And my aunt Bebre, I don't know for the Namkroma, and Monteso Bembram. All because a favorite to her, and I wish I guess to be so Janaquano Kutabaga or Trin Forma or per weekend.
Oniama chi o ye Captain Smart.
Bag in a kuta, but if you had a way that I'm packing him a good bargain, draw some me and son. Or the Obesha say Friday until your Shabaku Friday, that I know bedroom ya or Roy and Wessie. Oh yeah, and no daddy and anyway see. So about weekend is on over say, do you want us to bath together? Yeah, me and you want to see dresses here. I'm telling you, I'm being real. Beside that Kwame. I says beside GH boy. We must see dresses I don't know. It's your rough Friday, the other share no kwa Saturday or baku no washe. Sunday no washe baku. Monday na so no or ye calculation no who say on kwa no repeat who kwa no wasi. But no be kwa ro ya no washe Monday there no. Bag baku na share na tade na share Friday no. Or mienu shem baku ye short skirt. Any t-shirt wa one style bi na shirt to krom ho. Eno no say Saturday no mo na mfie ho na no shadow. When you hear mistakes, so only be pepe. Long dress be obey fit the same bag. Munu you make chakuro. If you go straight, long dress be obey. What's that? Ni na shabag we. Ya wu, bra wu ye. Jeans sha ho. Ebi no grat me de iron spray. Essential jeans the bottom bobo. Na shem ho. Obey ya to so am shem. No di wachi op a weekend. Enye se sebie buru sebie nyaado. Sa oba no mpe bra bi mo. Enye se sebie ebia o ya hya wo bra bi no pese obo. O pe ba bi di ni tiato. Enti most marriages are ekos wo krom ha ni na. No. Eye favorite marriage. Conditional. Oba ni ye budi kom ontimi ntu because otu a onya ba bi ntena. So a lot of people are enduring. Na dia ya kura say we be ma na wote wase fie. And the bia me bom pai say oba fie die Salome. Twa, come high hotel. He okotena oba fie a ho. Dross ye fie untimi nsi. Gwen. Cause we nsuo na esi. Na ye bia de ebisa say pipe no hwan na bie ye. Lekaka. Yeah, I say me na mbie ye. Na pipe no bie ye dey. Hey, anwamu na what pipe ntimi bia di. Why na yi nso no fridge dim? JB say eh mea. Nso no de ye den eh diesel, me di gukam. Gwen. Eti e mema ni mani bebre atete nkrofo nchen a ni komu bu, but ontimi nko edentia eh rent. Can we ever have a leader, a president, a government in this country which rent issues so flexible and easy for an ordinary person to get a place to lay their heads? When are we going to have that? How can we live in this country? That's how we $100 time now multimedia for just 1 year. Emma me watch motor. Need between $500 every month. I watch motor. Kingsby. Me fear is not a Pentecost elder there. Me de ka 2 months e ka de ni refi praise God hallelujah nka wo tumi. Au! Au! Bibi ni ye ni pa o. Praise when ya bibi. Au! Entonka. Bibi ni ye ni pa o. It's rent one. Rent has become a major issue. Hey, Michelle Papa bi wa ho. Adam, or catch them says or tracker moving can no cook myself, the man can't do that. I'm say man, opening that day. I say, Captain, you just went to via car now saying, yeah, me there. Because we can't me feel I say me took a cook myself copiscaba. Ba me bois, me tracker my condemn commercial bontenso. See, dear, me former chairman can let us say Yanko no parent or Ghana. Eti edanya ye besi ama Nyankopon kra wo Ghana ha no na Nyankopon kra ye parent ama no to so peniso Nyankopon kra ne dan na ye sie no $25 million 25 billion Ghana cedis and another day discussion. So rent is a very key issue. Uko Europe they have a very flexible rental laws. Even that may have problems with it. Uko America, they have other flexible, so we go home office, then they know where you live and all that. That is for security reasons. We need a leader who would understand the need to make rent quite flexible and easy and accessible. Why is it that, yes, I agree, we call other locations, every part of the world. When you go to America, the downtowns are quite expensive, and that's normal. I agree. I got no problem about that. When you go to Europe, there are other places, Central Paris, it's quite expensive. Boulogne, if you want to rent any apartment, any house or whatever at Boulogne, in Paris, it's quite expensive because that is where the big guys, the industry players, that's where they live and belong. It's expensive. So every part of this world, every corner of this world, wherever you go, there's a particular location where rent is quite expensive. But it doesn't mean it is expensive at the right-hand side. So those of us at the left side, we should sleep on the streets. I am pleading with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Finally, say, Accra, yes, sir. I said, we ye bibi maye. Na, yadi Boadu, say, Gabi Wachida Kukura today. I say, John Dramani Mahama is the most prepared president in the Fourth Republic. Okay, but Your Excellency, yes, sir, your power show. Now, young guys, young men, and young women in this country, we are dying. Let me add myself to the call. We are dying. And then, ma won with the akono, won skin efe, onye sika ntonku papa nsra, fewra agini nyina. The young men and young women in this country, Your Excellency, we are dying. And we plead with you. Say, Ubama Bibia Atutoye Amaye.
Captain Smart.
And yes, sir.
He is smart. He is unique. Captain Smart, the king of morning shows.
Your Excellency. It's quite serious. It's quite serious.
Captain Smart,
and
the king of morning shows.
Your Excellency. Whilst talking, I was just papa. On behalf of the youth of this country, this is what I have for you, Your Excellency.
Captain Smart.
Warmest greetings from the heart of the nation, Ghana. I write and I humbly say to you, not only as a citizen, but as a voice among millions who lie awake each night from hunger, and not from hunger, but from fear of eviction, anxiety about unpaid rent, and uncertainty of tomorrow. Mr. President, rent is no longer just a number on the slip of paper. For many of us, it is a barrier between dignity and despair. Every month, families are pushed to the edge. Some are thrown over the edge, sacrificing food, school fees, or health care just to keep a roof over their heads.
Captain Smart.
The young can no longer dream, Mr. President. The old can no longer rest, Your Excellency. And the workers, our nation builders, struggle to survive. This is not the vision our ancestors fought for. This is not the future our children deserve. I, on behalf of the entire youth of this country, humbly plead, Your Excellency, make rent easy before all. Make shelter not a privilege, but a right, accessible, affordable, and fair, Your Excellency. Let your legacy be the one that restored dignity to the people. by solving the housing crisis. It's so pervasive and so killing. Your Excellency, I believe in you. I believe in you. I trust in your capabilities. That this is just a small thing for you to do. Your Excellency, I am asking for something very simple on behalf of the youth of this country. Number one, affordable rental programs led by government and private partnership. Your Excellency, I am asking on behalf, I'm pleading on behalf of the youth of this country for rent control policies to prevent exploitation. We are being exploited because we just need a small space to lay our heads. Your Excellency, we need tenant protection that give people safety and voice. There are certain homes that when you rent, you can't even play music. You can't even talk, Your Excellency. On behalf of the youth of this country, I am asking for mass housing projects that include rental, not just ownership. Because some of us can own, others cannot. We are vulnerable. Those of us who cannot own houses, how do we manage our lives? Your Excellency, I am asking on behalf of the youth of this country, tax incentives for landlords who offer fair rates. There are landlords like Bokro Mohene who will look you in the eye and say that you are a young man. I don't need money from you. Pay me at the end of every month. Your Excellency, what can we do for such people? I know you can do something for them. Mr. President, a nation cannot rise if its people live in fear of falling.
He is smart. He is unique.
A home, Your Excellency, is not a luxury. It is the foundation of every dream. Your Excellency, a home is not a luxury.
Captain.
It is the foundation of every dream. If I can have a dream, I need a place to sleep. If I can dream into the future, I need a place to sleep. There's no walking machine under the sun who is called a human being. At any point in time, at any single space of time, somebody needs somewhere to sleep. Your Excellency, let this be the turning point. Let your government be remembered as the one that made home possible for all. John, I love you. John, I believe in you. John, I trust you that you can. You are so capable to do this for us.